Hello my friends, it's Gabriel with the Last Huntsman Outdoors here, and just trying not to get chewed up by mosquitoes, taking a little jaunt. And I kind of had a little thought. Recently I did a video on a super awesome knife. That is the Schwarz Lost Trail 5. Absolutely love this knife. It's highly suggested. Right off the bat will say, if you're looking for like that great American-made camp knife and don't want to just spend an absolute ton of money, but still want something American-made that's like perfect to go right out of the box, look up the Schwarz Lost Trail 5. But I kind of had a commenter on there, and this is kind of a growing trend I see in the knife community, so that's why I'm bringing this up. And you can really tell people who don't actually like use knives or do anything with anything, quite frankly, in real life, when they kind of start saying this. But he basically went to something to the effect of like, oh, it would have been a great knife if it wasn't, or if it was in MAGNACUT or something. Okay, fine. MAGNACUT would have been nice. But here's the thing, this knife is made out A2 tool steel. And of course, the guy just ran around in circles and stuff, as they always do. And you can't really actually have a conversation with them because you're kind of talking to somebody with sub 80 IQ usually. But all that being said, here's the dirty little secret, okay? Well, actually, I'm going to go into like kind of a knife steel rant. A2 tool steel is still a great and amazing steel. I still like A2 tool steel. I like MAGNACUT too. But just because something's not in MAGNACUT doesn't mean that it's not a great knife. You know, something in A2 tool steel or 1095 or that good old crusty, absolutely crusty 80 CRV2 steel, it's still going to be a great knife. And guess what? If you take care of it and do your part, it's going to be around longer than you are. It's going to be around longer than even your grandkids will be inheriting the thing if you take care of it. So I think a lot of people, quite honestly, they chase after the latest and greatest hype, and it's all just numbers on a screen. It's like, oh my god, look at these numbers and those numbers compared to those numbers, and it's all on a screen. Because really, when you get guys that's out in God's green earth like this, I'm going to tell you another little dirty secret here. I could get out here and I could be using MAGNACUT, I could be using, you know, a lot of fairly comparable steels, L-Max, Crewwear. And if they weren't labeled, you wouldn't be able to tell a difference in them. And guess what? When you're doing this type of stuff, some of those good old crusty carbon steels like A2 that you could literally just swipe on a leather strap and it's great to go and keep on keeping on type of thing, those have a purpose out here. The only people that I see that's really hyping up the MAGNACUT barbecue, and don't get me wrong, I like MAGNACUT, but there's some people that's just being kind of ridiculous about it, and they act like that's the only good thing that's out there. And the truth of the matter is, A2 tool steel 10 years ago was the top-notch steel. Just throwing that out there. 15, 20 years ago, people were hyping up 1095. Oh, by the way, 1095 steel is still a great steel. Get you a good SE, it's still going to last you longer than you are going to be around. I think too many people, and I think it's not even just the knife world, it's the gun world, it's the camping world, it's all that. They chase after the next latest and greatest thing. And guess what? 5 years from now, MAGNACUT's going to be like, oh, that's dead steel. Like, that's garbage steel. You got to have, you know, super duper asswipe steel or something. 88 HRC or something, you know. It's so stupid anymore, people. It really honestly is. And quite frankly, I'd like to see some of the knife makers and community go back to some of the steels that's absolutely great steel. Like, I'll be straight up, I like LMAX just as much as I do MAGNACUT. And I'll also straight up say that I've tested and used and had a few MAGNACUT blades that I didn't think were worth a shit. And it's not just because they were in MAGNACUT, although I think there's a lot of companies that's not doing it very well, quite frankly. I also think that, just like a lot of people will say, even Laren Thomas, edge geometry and the overall design of the knife and behind the edge thickness is more important than what steel you're using. You know, I would even rather take an SE that I know is spot on with her 1095 than, yeah, I'll call them out, cold steel, that I think their CPM 3V is kind of mediocre at best. I would rather take the SE just because I know it's going to work when I need it to, versus a company that's just marketing off of a steel type. And quite frankly, I feel like that's what a lot of the MAGNACUT hype is. It's all just marketing. So if you got that good old crusty A2 tool steel or the 80 CRV or that 1095, don't let these do nothings on the keyboard that actually doesn't even use anything dissuade you and tell you that that's a bad knife. Because here's the thing, it's a great knife and it's going to last longer than you. Just quick little rant. As always, be prepared both physically and spiritually. God bless, and carry on.